Stanford will be our first team in the interview area. They will be coming down in about 3 minutes. Their locker room will then be open. It'll be open for 30 minutes. Just a few reminders, please turn off all cell phones, no flash photography, please no video in the interview area. Please wait for a microphone to give your name and affiliation before asking a question. Please try and address a specific student athlete with your questions. This will help us with our ASAP quotes. What? Oh. Okay. Stanford's locker room is now open. They're making their way down to the dais. So Jess, when does it close? When does it close? 09? Hmm? What? 30 minutes. Oh, no. Stanford's locker room will be open until 9:09. Joining us now on the dais from Stanford, head coach Tara Vanderveer, student athletes Elena Smith and Erica McCall. We'll take an opening statement from Coach Vanderveer, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes.
First, I'd like to congratulate Dawn and her South Carolina Gamecocks. They worked really hard. They had a really aggressive second half plan and came out and really did a much better job in the second half. And Dawn and her staff have done a great job, and their team, they have a terrific team. I'd also like to congratulate our team on a great season, and I'm so proud of our team, how hard we fought. We really struggled with the third quarter. For us, with Carly not being 100%, that really hurt us a lot. We really got out of sync and never got it going in the third quarter, and that was disappointing for us. But I'm exceedingly proud of our team and how hard they played. I thought Atlanta stepped up big. Bird, they battled in there, and we will hold our heads up high leaving Dallas.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the student athletes? Please raise your hand, wait for a microphone. Right here in the middle.
Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Erica, what was it like going through that third quarter when it just like nothing would go in the basket?
It was rough, frustrating, but my teammates talked to each other the whole time. I'm really proud about how we kept communicating. We kept shooting. Unfortunately, they didn't go in, but we battled back in the fourth quarter. Atlanta hit big shots, and so I'm proud of how we battled, even though shots didn't go in.
Your team did a great job on Wilson, and then things started slipping away in the third quarter. Was it anything that they were doing differently or that you were doing differently? How do you account for them having such a strong third quarter?
I think she got more aggressive. I think she started to read where our double was coming from, so from there she just started attacking those points. So she's a good player, and she read the double well.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Right here on the left.
Jacob Rayburn, Cardinal Sports Report. Erica, could you talk about Marta's play in the first half? She really looked to score. She was great distributing the ball. What that did for you guys?
Her pushing the ball and just gave us a lot of energy, and she really knocked down some key layups for us. Got attacking, got that big and one for us, and so I was really proud of how she performed, and I look forward to seeing her do that all next season.
Yeah, follow up right here.
Alana, there's been a lot of talk about the leadership of the three seniors on this team. You've got 2 more years left at Stanford. What did you take away from playing with them?
Well, I think one thing that our seniors do really well for us is stay really level-headed, even when we are down, which we have been at points throughout our season. We stay really calm, and it doesn't get to our heads. And, yeah, that's just a huge tribute to our seniors. And, yeah, like you guys said, our shots weren't going in, but we weren't worried about it. We continued encouraging each other, and that came from our 3 seniors, and that really helped our whole team.
Question right here in the front row.
Hi, Coach Leah Frazier-Dixon with After the Whistle. This question is for Alana. Off the bench in the first half, you led your team in rebounding, which is astounding. Did you guys feel that you were moving at a slightly higher gear than normal the first half? I mean, you looked real bouncy, loose, and it was really everybody was moving so fast up and down the court.
I couldn't really tell, but I think that's one thing that we've really been focusing on is keeping our pace really high and pushing the ball up the court, and that's something that our point guards have been doing really well, and our bigs do really well as well, is run the floor. And I think that worked really well for us in this game, yeah.
Anything else for the student athletes? Take one final question here.
Cheryl Coward, WhoFeet.com. This is for Erica. Your coach talked about how proud she was of the team, but as a leader, any thoughts on how proud you are of what your team has accomplished this season and given your start?
I'm so proud of my team. We've been through a lot, especially this past preseason, and so we worked our tails off to get here. And I'm super proud of how my senior teammates helped lead the team with me. And I can go through one by one of how much I love my teammates, but ultimately we worked our tails off. We got here for a reason. There's nothing to hang our heads down about. As Tara said, just proud of them, really proud of them.
Thank you, ladies. They will be back in the locker room. That will be open until 9:09. We'll continue with questions for Coach Vanderveer. We'll start here in the middle with Tom. Lindsay?
Tara, what was it about this South Carolina team that was so tough for you in the second half? Was it their shooting, the rebounding of Wilson, the speed? What was it? What were the things that really cooked you in the second half?
Well, I think that our team got a little out of rhythm even at the end of the first half when Carly came out, and we did not come out as aggressive as we needed to be. I thought we were really short on a lot of shots. I don't think we got to the free throw line, twice, if that, in the second half. We turned it over too much. We just never could get it. When we had a 9-point lead, and they got back right in. And for us, honestly, we just really struggle without our glue out there. Carly twisting her ankle really kind of gave us a tough time. For Carly not to score, we need her scoring. And, I think it was a great effort by Bird, a great effort by Alana. Britt really struggled offensively. Marta, I thought, did some really nice things in the first half, and we needed her to be a little bit more aggressive in the second half. But, without Carly, we really struggled.
Question right here in the middle.
Tara, Howard Magdal with Vice Sports. Curious how much you feel that your defensive game plan went according to plan. Just, on a night where you held them to 3 made threes.
Right.
Asia Wilson, most of her shots were really on putbacks and came late. How much of this was the defensive plan, and did the defensive plan start with aggressively going after those doubles and sometimes even sending a third after Asia?
Well, it didn't look good when the first shot was a 3 by Harris. But, I thought defensively, in the first half, they shot 14% in the second quarter. It was like 20. I thought our defense was okay. The problem was we gave up second shots. Gray got in on the O boards. They got too many O boards, and they put them back, or they called fouls on the O boards. And I don't think we've ever all year been 21-5 at the free throw line. It's just, and we didn't rebound well enough. We didn't rebound well enough, and we had too many mistakes with the ball in the first half, especially, turning the ball over. Our turnovers, and some of the little traveling turnovers were like just the unforced errors. So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with that. But we were out of sync. We really depend a lot on Carly, Marta, Alana, and without her, we really struggled.
Question in the front here.
Yeah, I've got two. First of all, is having Carly less than 100%? I assume considerably less than 100% after the injury. Is that as much of a psychological hit as it is what she brings on the floor, her shooting, that kind of thing? And the other is, can you?
Let me start with that one.
Okay.
Yes, she's really been the glue to our team the whole year. She talks, she makes big shots. If someone had told me before the game she won't score, I'd say we're in trouble. And she scores for us. She defends. She takes charges. She couldn't move. We tried. She wanted to play. We wanted her to play. But one of the first possessions, Gray really took it right at her. And then when we went with Bree, But psychologically and physically, it was a challenge.
And the other is, can you talk a little bit about Asia Wilson's impact on the defensive end? It seemed like she was altering a lot of shots down there.
Yeah, I mean, she's an All-American. She's a terrific player. She blocks shots or she changes them. And, you know, what did she end up with? 19 rebounds? I mean, she's on that glass. And, you know, she really, you know, came out in the second half. And I think Dawn probably challenged her and she responded.
We have time for a final question for Coach. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
South Carolina's locker room is now open. They're heading their way to the dais. Just a updated or a note, we are going to have the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame inductees on the podium after the South Carolina press conference. This will be the class of 2017. They'll be available up here for Q&A for the media. Stanford's locker room is open until 9:09. What? 9:23. South Carolina's locker room is now open and will close at 9:23. Joining us on the dais now from South Carolina, head coach Dawn Staley, student athletes Alicia Gray and Asia Wilson. We'll take questions for the student athletes first, please. Please raise your hand, wait for a microphone. We'll start right here.
Margot Gill with Swish Appeal, and this is for Asia. They were obviously very physical with you out there. So how did you remain physical tough, but also mentally tough as well?
Of course, it was very frustrating. It was very tough to remain tough, but it was something I've seen before. In the SEC, playing in the SEC, I see that kind of every night. So it wasn't anything that I haven't seen. It was just a matter of just this time. It was just kind of frustrating because I felt like I wasn't really in the play offensively. But then, I just kind of remained me, and my teammates really rallied around me, just kind of kept positive thoughts into my mind, and Coach Day kept positive thoughts into my mind, and I think that really kind of helped me overcome just kind of the way the game was going for me.
Question back here.
Asia, Howard Mandel, Vice Sports. Curious about two things. One, what did you see out of the double teams? What were you able to recognize? It seemed like you were able to make decisions to help you get to the basket, especially in the second half. And there was a spot where it was a 50-50 ball that came your way, and you were able to explode to the basket. It put you guys up 45-40, and that seemed to give you more flow over the remainder of the game. Was that the case?
Yeah, I think so. It's very tough when you have kind of three people around you and you see that your teammate is open, but you really just can't get it there the way that you want it. So, of course, it's frustrating because I see it and I just can't get there. But, I just kind of let the game come to me, honestly. I try to get every loose ball without fouling. I just try to find a way for us to get the possession. And if it was that 50-50 ball, then so be it. And I think that really kind of gave me the momentum to kind of say, okay, we're going to be okay, and just kind of push through.
Question right here.
Cedric Bailey with the Levita News. This is from Ms. Gray. Y'all only scored 6 points in the second quarter. And, of course, what did Coach Staley say to you guys to come out in the third quarter to take over that lead midway through the third?
She was basically like our energy was down, so we just needed to play to our tempo and start pushing tempo. And once we did that, we got on our run, and we was able to go on our 13-0 run.
Question over here on the side.
Yeah, Asia, when you're getting double and triple teamed like that and you're having trouble just getting a look at the basket, do you count on the defense and on the rebounding and the other stuff? I think you led the team in assists as well. Do you kind of look to do all that other stuff and maybe just say, okay, now the offense will come to you?
Yeah, most definitely. I just kind of let the game come to me in whichever category it is on the stat sheet. I just really want to make an impact on my team any way I can. Tonight, obviously, it was kind of rebounding. I kind of shocked myself with that. But it goes to show, you just it goes to show that, you just got to find different way in the game that you can impact your team. And I think rebounding kind of stuck out to me, and I just tried to get every ball that I could.
Question over here.
Lindsay Jones from USA Today. Asia, yesterday you were kind of telling us about what you were telling your teammates after your Final Four from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So given that experience from 2 years ago, what does it mean to now get to a championship game?
Oh, I can't even put into words the feeling that I have right now. This is a very special team, and I feel like we've earned this spot that we're in now. And we know that we're not done, but just the feeling of just making history at your school is just something really special, especially with the game of women's basketball. And we're kind of putting South Carolina on the map right now, and I think it's just a great feeling for us. I think we're blessed, and we're really honored to be in this situation.
Question right here in the aisle.
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeed.com. Tara Vanderveer said that she felt that Dawn probably challenged you to come out and play better in the second half. You had 11 rebounds in the second. Was that the case?
I don't think she necessarily challenged us. I think that just kind of came from within. We knew that we had to go out and get every possession, and I know Coach said in our huddle was, we got to treat every possession like it's our last, and that's what you have to do at this time of the year. And I think that's something that we really kind of, it struck hard to us, and we knew we had to get the ball and earn our possessions and keep our possessions. So I think we did a pretty good job of doing that.
We have time for one more for the student athletes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
They'll be available in the locker room until 9:23.
Ricky Rubio.
We'll take questions for Coach Staley. We'll start here in the back.
Prentice Beverly, Blue Star Media. Dawn, I think earlier one of the questions to one of the players when they asked about the poor shooting in the first half. I guess the question is, when you were at 25% shooting, did you feel fortunate to only be down 9 points?
First of all, I just want to say that, to God be the glory that we're in this position to play for a national championship. Something that is so very hard to do. And sometimes when your kids play on this stage, they don't quite come out and execute like, they have in their minds, like we prepped. We knew exactly what Stanford was going to do to us. They were going to sag on us. They were going to force us to take some outside shots. And they forced us to play at a speed in which benefited them. And when you're playing at that speed, you don't have any fluidity to what you're doing on the offensive end. And if you're not creating it by pushing the ball down the floor, by changing speeds, you're not going to make great shots because they're not even shots that you practice at the speed that you practice at. So we were fortunate to be down 9, but I just wanted to get our kids to the locker room at halftime because I knew no matter how many points that we were down, we can utilize our speed to get back into play, whether that's, trapping in a half court, whether that's picking up full court, whether that's, coming off ball screens and setting our players up in positions where they could be effective. Timeouts weren't long enough to get our message across. So we need to get it, we need to get into halftime to, kind of exhale a little bit.
Any other questions right here?
Dawn, obviously, offensively, there was a difficulty getting into a rhythm, but it seemed like defensively you were doing a lot of what you would set out to do and knocking them off the three-point line and making sure that every shot was a tough shot. Did you feel like the team throughout this game was performing to the defensive expectation you'd set?
And that is exactly why, we're built our reputation on defense, because you're going to have bad shooting nights at times. This was one of them. If we didn't, hold Stanford to 29 points, which is, not bad. It's not bad. I thought we did what we needed to do from a defensive standpoint. A lot of what they got from an offensive standpoint was because of our shots. We had some imbalance on the offensive end that created easy buckets for them in transition. But then the second half, I thought we just imposed our will from a defensive standpoint, sped the game up, and got playing at a pace in which benefited our style of play.
Question over here on the left.
Hi, Livy Sefton from Swish Appeal. So you guys have kind of a thing about bouncing back. You've done it throughout the season from injuries. It's kind of a next man up mentality. What is it about you guys that gives you so much resilience, and do you think it will give you an edge in the next game?
Well, we feel like we're always going to be in the game for the league that we played in, the SEC. It is a tough league. So we've been in, familiar situations that we don't fret it. We don't get down on ourselves. We just find a way. And our team has an incredible focus on the end result. The stuff in between is going to happen. Runs are going to happen. Bad shots are going to happen. Turnovers are going to happen. But we hang our hats on being able to control some of the tempo that happens out there. And I think a good mark of I think a good team, can bounce back from any adverse situation in the game. And I thought our team has done that throughout the season.
Question here in the aisle.
Hi, Dawn. Sue Favor, Women'sHoopsWorld.com. What was it like playing against a coach that you know so well? Did that make any difference in the game and how you plan for the game? And then, what does it mean to you to beat Tara after having played for her so long ago and being mentored by her?
I think leading up to the game, you think about all the wonderful things that we've accomplished together. And also think about the things in which, Tara, we text, we call, we talk to each other throughout the season. And she's been, one of my biggest supporters since I've been into coaching. And she's what's right for women's basketball. She wants younger coaches to have success in this league. I can't thank her enough. But then you start thinking about, they throw up statistics on the, television screen, like I think 0 for 5 coaching against her. And you think, at some point, the law of averages should play out at some point. But once the game started, I didn't really look at it as Tara Vanderveer. We tell our players, our opponents are nameless and faceless. We need to go out there, because if you start playing the name and you start playing the face, and you start playing the tradition, I think it overwhelms you. So we don't, we just approach it like they're any other opponent, so we don't get ahead of ourselves.
Question right here in the blue.
Don Stephen Hawkins with the AP. Asia talked about it was tough, staying tough with everything that was going on. But what does it do for you guys when she is able to do that? And obviously, like she said, she took her game to a different level when she couldn't, score the points she'd want to do and things like that.
Well, I mean, Asia's, she's come a long way as far as handling physicality. And we know that teams are going to, wall up and smother her. I didn't think she handled the double teams or the triple teams well tonight. But she found a way to impact the game other ways, and that's, getting in there and rebounding the basketball. If we don't have her contributions on the boards, we're not playing on Sunday night. But really proud of how she stuck in there and hung in there and not, got down on herself, because she found herself in familiar grounds, playing in the SEC and seeing so many different looks like that. You tend to figure out, maybe it's not my night from an offensive standpoint. Let me go try to impact it somewhere else.
Time for one more question right down here. I'm sorry, we have 2 more. We'll take one here and then down here.
Nicole Fye, Swish Appeal. With losing Elena to that nagging ankle injury, how much of is it initiative that Asia Wilson has stepped up like she has?
I mean, I think with Asia knowing that she didn't have her, her partner in crime for the remaining of the season, I think she kind of exhaled a little bit, and she figured out ways in which she can still impact the game. We've moved her around and allowed her to, kind of control the paint. And, she's taken the approach of, keep it moving forward. Let's do it for Elena. She's not able to help us out physically, so let's make sure that we give her every opportunity to get another ring, because Elena Coach likes rings. She wears all her rings all the time on every finger. So we want to add one more to the collection.
Question right down here.
Hi there, Coach Leah Frazier-Dixon with After the Whistle. You guys seemed slightly sluggish in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. Then you regained the lead at about 3:25. It never looked back. What do you think was the biggest difference? What adjustment did you make at halftime?
The biggest adjustment was, speeding up the game. We couldn't play at that pace. And shoot the ball the way we were shooting the ball. We had to figure out a way in which to create some easy buckets in transition. So I thought we pressured the ball, when we came out of the halftime, and then during the middle of the third quarter, when they got settled in with how we were playing, we went to a zone. And I thought the zone bothered them a little bit, forced them to take some outside shots, and they missed a lot of shots in the third quarter that we capitalized on. So, and that was all because the pace of the game changed.
Any other questions? Great, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
South Carolina's locker room will be open until 9:23. Please stick around. It is my pleasure now to introduce the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, class of 2017, momentarily. Introducing the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, class of 2017, Sally Bell, Rick Ensel, Kara Walters, and Cheryl Swoops. We'll take a statement from each, and then we'll open it up for some questions. Sally?
This is an honor that I never really expected, to tell you the truth, but I represent every single official in this country that goes out there every single night to referee games on every single level, and they're a part of this too, and that's what I represent, and I'm so honored.
Thank you, Sally.
Very, very humble to be part of the Hall of Fame. You never think about it when you start coaching that something like this will happen, but to be able to sit here with these ladies and to be part of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, I'm very humble, very humble.
It was a shock when I got the phone call. I'm extremely humbled. That was definitely the word that I used. I actually think I used the word embarrassed, and I meant that in the nicest way possible because I was so humbled. I played with players like Cheryl, so when I found out Cheryl obviously was being inducted, I was like, well, of course, Cheryl Swoops. But then to put my name with someone like Cheryl, it's very humbling. So it's such an honor. I know all of us up here, it was a privilege. It is a privilege to do what we've done for the game of women's basketball. And the fact that people have recognized what we've done and what we continue to want to do to be a part of the game, even though we're all older, it's still very important to us to stay a part of the game and continue for the future of the game. So for us to be recognized for what we did for the game we love so much, I'm extremely honored.
I definitely have to echo what everyone else up here said. I think anytime you get an opportunity to be recognized for something that you pretty much have spent your entire life doing, whether that's as an official, a coach, a player, it's always an honor for people to recognize your talents and your ability to do something that God, blessed you to do. And I'm not even sure if I was put on this earth to play basketball, but God said, here you go, here's a ball, so go make something out of it. For me, this is probably a little bit more special, and I'm going to talk fast, because I just lost my mom a couple of weeks ago. So, to be sitting up here today, after having shared the moment with her at the Naismith Hall of Fame, now to be back here, being honored again for the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, it probably is a little bit more special to me. So without a doubt, I'm very humbled, I'm very honored to be sharing this stage with everyone else that is in this class. So thank you.
We do have a microphone available if there are any questions for our Hall of Famers. We'll come on right down here. Thanks, Brent.
Cedric Bailey, Levita News and BGC Sports. First of all, I want to say congratulations to all of you. I grew up in Oklahoma. We were the last state that went 3-on-3, 6 players. So I know you can relate to it. And we've... Who can relate to it?
You can't relate to it. They cut my mic off.
They can. Okay. And the reason why I asked that question is because we're here in Texas. And Cheryl, we watched you at Texas Tech going out there. I saw Aaron Grant come through right behind you, or so, Marsha Sharp and everything. And we look at this place now, the women couldn't go nowhere but Reunion Arena. Here we are at the American Airlines Center. You got a sold-out crowd. So can you talk about the impact of the game, where we come from in today in 2017?
Is that for me or for anybody? Well, I'll speak briefly, and it's funny because Sally and I were just sitting back there before we came up here, and we were talking about in '93 when Texas Tech, when we won the championship, and I think at the time it was a 2-referee crew, right, Sally? So we were talking about that, and she was talking about how mean I was to her and all those things, but that was never me. But it's, so to sit up here today and kind of, I guess, reminisce back in '93 when you look at, where the game was. And I think for me back then, that was like the epitome of the women's game and of basketball. And, you look at Reunion Arena, and now we're at American Airlines Arena. And as you said, it's not just about the arena and the facilities, but it's about the talent and the players. I sat back there and I had an opportunity to play for some of the best coaches. I watched Tara and I listened to her, and but when I watch Dawn Staley up here and I see what Dawn has done, and I kind of know her story, I feel like I'm so much a part of that, and I'm in awe of what she's been able to accomplish. But I think it's because of coaches like a Dawn Staley that have been mentored by the Tara Vanderveers and the Pat Summits. She's helped grow this game, and if it's not for those coaches and the players that we have today, we're probably not playing in an arena like this. And for me, even though I'm not playing or have nothing to do with it, it's an honor for me to be able to come here and be a part of it and see how special it is for the women's game to be recognized the way it is today, although we have a long ways to go.
Sally?
Well, I was on that game, and we did have two-person crew back then. And, my history as officiating goes back to, I think my first Final Four was '89. So I've seen the history of women's basketball and develop. And, people talk about Title IX, what it did for the student athlete. Let me tell you, it affected my career. I had opportunities that I could not have put something down, as far as my athletic ability, but it's still. And so those things are dear to the heart, and we got to appreciate and know where it came from and continue to grow from it. Like Cheryl said, it is a long way. We're still going, but we're making progress, and I'm just so proud to have seen every ounce of what we've gone through, because I feel like I was kind of there in the beginning. I used to say I'm older than dirt, but now I'm a coordinator. I have conferences that I coordinate, and now I get to train and mentor officials, and that piece of it is so important to me and so vital to our game, I think. And that's why I think the referees, I just want them to all know they're a part of this. That's very important to me.
Question here in the front row.
Leah Frazier-Dixon with After the Whistle. This question is for Kara. You may not recall this memory, but I know, oh my God. So early in my career, I was working for a CBS affiliate in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Your 8th grade team was playing in nationals.
Oh my.
And you were in the mall. And you and some of your teammates walked by me, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this baby that's taller than me? I stand 6'2", and you were 6'3" at that time, and I was like, this is amazing, because I was one of the tallest people on my collegiate basketball team, just finishing up a run in the NCAA tournament. And it just warmed my heart. I've never forgotten that memory.
Oh.
My question for you is, if you now recall that, could you have ever dreamed that you'd be sitting here today as that 8th grade little girl that was playing in nationals?
That almost that actually chokes me up, because I have 2 little girls that are 9 and 10, and I think it's so important what this game has done for me. From that 8th grader who was big and awkward and made fun of, and kids were mean to, and I hated my height growing up, and basketball was my thing. That was what survived my childhood in the middle school years, and it was, I found that thing where I fit in, and it really made the difference in my life. And so, we all talk about, as cheesy as I sound saying that, we all talk about this sport and what it's done for us in different ways. That, in some ways it saved my life, this sport, because I think it would have been really easy for me to go down the wrong path because of how difficult life was for me in middle school. And just hating. It was, they talk about bullying nowadays. Gosh, for me, it was horrible. But, basketball was kind of my drug. That was the thing for me. And it just did so much for my confidence and my self-esteem and finding my way and finding my path. So I can't thank the sport enough for what it did for me. And if you had told that 8th grade, gawky girl that I would be here today, I would have never believed your story. If you came up to me in the mall and said, hey, guess what? Someday you'll be a Hall of Famer, I would have laughed you out of the mall, So it's what this sport does for different people in their lives and the difference that it makes. And I try to tell my kids, my daughter comes home from school some days crying, and she says, Mommy, in gym class, they make fun of me because I can't do push-ups or I can't climb the ropes in gym class. She's a big girl like me, and she doesn't have the upper body strength. And she's like, and all the kids in my class, they don't weigh as much as me, and they're little, and I weigh a lot. And I said, Sydney, I said, I couldn't do push-ups either, and I have a gold medal in the Olympics. I said, so honey, don't worry about it. You do you. And there's going to be kids that, they can't do what you do because you're so tall and you're perfect the way you are. And, I know I'm going off on a rant here, and I'm sorry, but your question just touched me. It just touched me because it just goes to show that basketball is more than a game, and it's deeper than a game. And the way that it affects these young girls, and it shows them that they can be an athlete, and they can be powerful, and they can be so many things. I think that's part of the reason I'm so passionate about the game, and because it just brings, there's just so many reasons why we need to keep it going, and so many reasons why we need to empower these young girls to play the game and to continue. We need to pass the torch and keep it growing. So although we don't play anymore, we all have the same passion for it. I coach my daughter's AAU team now, and I want to continue to make a difference because I know there could be one of those 8th grade gawky girls in the mall that I could make a difference in their life. And they might go to school the next day and not go crying home because they might find basketball as their thing and their sport, and it's pretty cool. So I'm sorry for the rant. You touched me by saying that. And women's basketball has come a long way, and I know everybody up here is going to continue to make sure that it grows even more.
Any final questions for the class of 2017?
Sorry, Emery.
No problem.
Coach Insel, talk about the time that you started out at Shelbyville back in the 70s, correct? And how you built up that program and then your time at Middle Tennessee.
I did coach 3-on-3.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes, I did. So that tells you how old I am. And I did see Ann Donovan play in an AAU tournament in Tullahoma, Tennessee in 1977. That's when I decided to start an AAU program, which ended up being the largest AAU program in the country. And then later on, we developed the first travel team program in the country for Nike. So I've been at every Final Four. I've saw both of you young ladies win your national championships since 1986. So Betty Janes, those type people, we can forever be thankful for that they took a stand. Not only they didn't coach, well, she was a coach, but she decided to start the WBCA. And those ladies that laid the foundation for us, we can never, ever be so grateful for them. They are the ones that allowed us to have a packed house out here tonight.
Anything else for the class? Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.